think I was in my late teens, maybe early 20s, full steam ahead and being a witch. And I was really out of the broom closet and I'm just on fire. I was up against some problem. I don't remember what it was. It was probably money or relationships, something happening. And I was bitching and moaning to somebody about it. And I guess I bitched and moaned too many times for her. And she just said, "I thought you said you were a witch." I said, "What?" And she said, "I thought you were a witch. Can't you cast a spell? Can't you do something about it? I don't understand. What's the point of being a witch if you can't make it better?" And I didn't have a good answer for her. That was a really good wake-up call for me. If I'm noticing that I'm complaining about something, I say, "I thought you were a witch." Now, that's not to say that just because you're a witch and just because you study magic and you build your power, that you are all-powerful and that you can overcome every problem with the snap of your fingers. But a lot of the stuff that I used to just complain about, I don't allow myself to complain about as much anymore because I know I do have a way of making change happen in my life. Even if it's by working well within my sphere of influence and breaking down the problem into smaller components and taking it piece by piece until I get a resolution. And I think that young lady was one of the best parts of my craft education, and she wasn't even involved in the craft. By just holding me to account. If you're going to call yourself this, then shouldn't you act like this? And if this doesn't involve that, then why do this? If this so-called magical lifestyle of yours doesn't include solving some of the problems that you're complaining about, then why bother with it? What's the point of it? It seems like a lot of work for nothing. I started thinking about that this morning because on our private Facebook group, somebody reposted some article that was all about how vulnerable we are if somebody touches us. This is somebody who's supposedly a witch. You can't shake hands with somebody. If somebody bumps up against you, you're going to absorb their negative energy, or you're going to be at the effect of them. You're so vulnerable. So you have to stay isolated and be very careful who you allow to touch you. That's why from the gate in A Witch's Primer, we talk about strengthening your aura, spiritual purification, grounding and centering, orb of light, really strong aura. You have nothing to worry about. You don't need to be paranoid about picking up somebody else's astral cooties. And I realize that there are two very separate paths that call themselves the craft, that call themselves magic. One is all about superstition and being afraid. And the other one is all about empowering oneself and living life independently. On one side, people that call themselves witches are so superstitious and afraid, they can't do anything when Mercury goes retrograde because the sky will literally fall. I did an independent study for myself years ago where I took, I think it was 2 or maybe 3 full Mercury cycles where it goes direct, retrograde. I wanted a decent snapshot. And I was very diligent about writing down when I had communication setbacks, big upheavals, things like that. And I looked back and it was even. All things were equal. All things were even. And somebody said, well, that's because you have Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, so it doesn't affect you. And I thought, wouldn't it affect me opposite then? So you're just saying if you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, then you have the kiss of Glinda on your forehead and Mercury has absolutely no control over you? Because to me, if you were going to use that logic, it would mean that during Mercury direct, things would go haywire. And only during Mercury retrograde would things be okay. But that wasn't the case. I did the same thing with the moon, and I found that the moon did have an effect on my life. I did have different emotional swings during certain lunar phases. It was causative, but Mercury being direct or retrograde, absolutely not causative for me. And I thought to myself, if it's true for me, then it has to be true for everybody. You can follow those things in order to be in alignment with that tradition and in alignment with the phases of the moon, alignment with that magnetic energy, that does seem to rule the tides and the emotions and things like that. But if your need is great, it doesn't matter. You do you. You do it even if the moon is dark. It doesn't matter. If you have a need, you cast that spell when you need it. Don't worry about it. When we study the craft, we have to ask ourselves, what kind of witch do I want to be? Do I want to be the superstitious kind of witch that's afraid about everything and vulnerable to everything and has to hide in a hole because there are bad things out there that are going to get me? Or do I want to be the kind of witch that can go about my life and let there be other people around me without worrying about getting their astral cooties or worrying that Mercury is going to beat me up? When you realize how powerful you are, you're not going to let Mercury boss you around. You're not even going to let the moon boss you around. You're not going to let yourself worry about things like needing to sage every time somebody comes into your presence that might have some negative energy, because it doesn't affect you. You're much more powerful than sage. Your light is so powerful, so strong, and so potent that sage is nothing compared to your presence. You can use it. You can use any tool you want or not, because that's the kind of witch you are. You've built your power. You have connected with the truth about who you are at your core. And from there, you have exercised it. Just like some people connect with their muscles and exercise their muscles in the gym and become very strong, or go to martial arts classes and learn how to defend themselves and protect themselves. You also, as a witch, are accessing and then building your power and understanding what that means. You understand that you take your power with you. You take your power with you wherever you go, and you alone are enough. You are enough. You don't have to worry about being cursed, being hexed. You don't have to worry about the evil eye, negative energy. You don't have to worry about planetary transits. Who are you? I am a powerful individual expression of source energy. That's what I am. I'm a spiritual giant. That's what I am. And you're giant. You're bigger than the earth. You're bigger than Mercury. You're bigger than a star. You're so huge. When we decided to think of ourselves as separate little egos, we swallowed a belief system whole that we're just little vulnerable nothing. We're so unprotected and so unsafe here. And so when you start to look into something like the craft, it should make you feel good that there's a power within you and you can tap into and build that power for yourself. And anything less than that is not acceptable. Superstition is unacceptable. Being afraid of other people's energy is unacceptable. Being afraid of so-called negative energy, unacceptable. That you have to have certain crystals in order to be safe, unacceptable. I'm not saying you can't have those things. If you like it because it's fun and it gets you in touch with that inner power and it makes it enjoyable for you, go for it. Have as many witchy woo tools as you like. I love them too. I think they're great. But I don't need them, and neither do you. You don't need anything but you. So the next time somebody tries to convince you that you're vulnerable, that you're in danger because of all of this negative energy out there, or that somebody's cursing you, somebody's hexing you, so what if they are? They can't touch you. Somebody could throw a rock at the sun and curse the sun, and the sun wouldn't even notice it. Wouldn't matter. You can do it all day long. They can get themselves in a real state about that if they want to. It doesn't affect the sun. The same way, it doesn't affect you, because you are more powerful than the sun. Yes, you are. We don't know that here. We don't see that here. But when we work in the craft and we turn inward and we build our power and we discover our power, we get glimpses of the truth behind the veil. And we're so afraid of what's behind the veil. We're afraid to see because we're afraid it's going to be even scarier and we're going to be more vulnerable. But when you finally peek behind there and you realize what it is, you literally are a star. Big, giant, powerful. Nothing can touch you. Nothing can harm you. Not Mercury, not people's negative energy. You don't need sage. You don't need anything but you. And the good news is you're already there. Remind yourself of this every day. I am a powerful expression of perfection. That's not being egotistical, it's being humble. You didn't make it that way. You can't take personal credit for it. But to try to negate it is arrogant. To say, oh, I'm so vulnerable and nothing works for me and I can't make anything happen and negative energy and where's my sage? That's arrogant. That's arrogant. Why? Because you're negating your power. You're negating who you are. Make it a point to say, from this day forward, I am owning my power. And infinite intelligence wants that from you. Infinite intelligence gave you your power not as a gift because you were so powerless. Infinite intelligence gave you your power as it extended itself as you. There's nobody that's more powerful than you. It's true that there's nobody less powerful than you, but most people that I come in contact with think they're nothing. Think they're a little speck of nothing. And it's blasphemy to think of yourself as nothing. It's blasphemy to think that you need something other than you to shine and to be powerful and to have what you want, to be what you want, and to do what you want. It's your right. Do what you will. I want your heart to beat to the truth of who you are. You are beloved of your Creator, and as that, you're powerful. You're just as powerful as any angel, any spirit, any deity, any person, any planet, anything out there. That's how powerful you are. Undo your attachment to the idea that you're powerless. Undo your attachment to the idea that you're not enough, and therefore you need to look outside of yourself. Now, that's not saying that it's wrong to ask for help. If you're understanding what help is and where it exists, you look to teachers for help, you look to spiritual advisors sometimes for help, you look to friends for help, you look to therapists for help, you look to family for help to get the support that you need in order to find your power, live in your power, use your power. Your power is uniquely yours. Nobody can be like you. And one way that this manifests, that people eschew their power, is by disliking themselves. Oh, if only I didn't have this. If only this was better about me. If only I didn't have this hair. If only I didn't have this skin. If only I didn't have this body. If only I didn't have this weight. The infinite doesn't look at you like that. The infinite doesn't say, if only. The infinite already thinks you're fabulous and wants nothing more than for you to share that opinion. Start looking at yourself like the infinite sees you. And then you'll either come to terms with the fact that the thing that you thought was not so good is actually important and fabulous and necessary, or some of those other things will just drop away naturally without a whole lot of effort on your part. It's what happened with me and smoking. I mean, it was hard, but it just fell away. I tried so many ways to quit smoking back in the day, and none of them worked. But once I recognized that I needed to do nothing more than to accept myself as I was, smoking and all, and recognized that the infinite saw me as perfect, the way I am, smoking just kind of fell away. If you look at yourself and you look at how many places you think you're defective, just look, make a list. My defects are, the things I hate about myself are, the reason why I'm not good enough, the reason why I'm not powerful, all that stuff, write it all down. Physical, mental, emotional, personality, whatever you think it is that's not good enough, write it down. When you get that big list of all the horrible reasons why you're not good enough, recognize that the infinite doesn't see it that way at all. The infinite sees you as its beloved child, in whom it is well pleased. When you realize that, a lot of those things, you start seeing them differently. And the other ones just fall away when they will, and you're not worried about them anymore. Who cares? The infinite doesn't care. Why should I? The infinite's not obsessed with my weight. Why should I be? You are power. You are pure power. And anything that doesn't look like that pure power is not true. And it's okay to call the lie out in the moment. To yourself, you don't have to be obnoxious about this stuff. Let people have their superstitions. Let people have their Mercury retrograde. Let people have their whatever they need, their trinkets and all of that stuff. And you let yourself have them too, if you like them. But you're coming from a different point of view. Starting today, you are power. And anything that doesn't look like that power, I'm going to call it out in the moment. The moment that I notice that I'm shrinking back from my power, I say, we don't do that anymore. I'm a powerful witch, or whatever word you like. I'm a powerful witch. I am an extension of pure power, and there's nothing more powerful than I am. We recognize that there's nothing less powerful than you either. Nobody's less powerful than you ultimately. But for now, that's not so much the point. For now, for most of us, the point is no one is more powerful than I am. And I can have what I want, regardless of what everybody else around me is doing or saying, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what's going on in the environment, regardless of what's going on in the economy, the politics, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is that I'm pure power and I can have what I want. Because what I truly want is part of who I am. The desires of my heart are there to be fulfilled. They also are my gift. The infinite doesn't dangle carrots. The ego does, but the infinite doesn't. If you want something, it's yours. If you desire something truly and honestly, it's yours. You get it. And that's part of our training in magic, is learning how to get it, learning how to accept it, learning how to ask for it, learning how to manifest it. That's the buzzword these days. I manifested that. Did you? Did you though? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But you do know how to manifest. You do have the power to manifest. And the more you connect with that power to manifest, the easier it's going to be for you to have those experiences of fulfillment in your life, which is the infinite's will for you, to be fulfilled. This world is an awful place, but it doesn't need to be for you. You have everything that you need to protect you, to provide for you, and to heal you while you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, which is this world. You have everything you need. It's up to you to claim it. It's up to you to know it. And it's up to you to keep your mind focused on the truth of that and not get sucked into this nonsense out there. Don't let anybody else define for you what power looks like, what the craft looks like, what it means for you to be a witch. Now, if you don't like that word, use another word, but don't let anybody else define that for you. Because the minute you do that, you go back onto that island of forgetfulness where you have no power, where you're vulnerable, where you're at the effect of every little thing, every little breeze, every little shake of a leaf is going to upset you or cause a problem for you. And that's not the will of the infinite. The will of the infinite is that you own your power, know your power, be provided for, be happy, be safe, and then wake up. Today's your birthday. Today is the first day of your new life. Insist upon that from yourself. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.